Hello, and welcome to another edition of Friday Night Series, How to Pray. And I'm your host, the Reverend Doctor. And last week we started on on prayer topics and how we are to pray. And last week we talked about the Lord's Prayer. Now, see, the Lord's Prayer in Matthew chapter 6, verses 9 to 13, they asked Jesus, how are we to pray? And Jesus said, pray in this manner. Now, what we've done is we've taken this to be the Lord's Prayer, but really what it was this was a guideline or a roadmap in how you ought to pray. You ought to give thanks and worship the Lord, which is the first, thing in there. And then you are to pray for the kingdom of God to come, because his kingdom is the only righteous kingdom there is. So tonight we want to pick up on the third top part of that, which is Matthew 6 and 10, which is thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. We ought to pray for God's will to be done. Not our will, but God's will. Now, God's will is totally different from ours. God's will is totally different from ours. And his will for us is the best for us. Now, surely there are things that we want to do, and we have a drive to get certain things done. But when we're praying, we want to pray that God's will be done. That God's will, that his will, that thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. The same thing that he does in heaven, we want it done here on earth. That's his will to be done. And that's, the third part of the prayer. The manner in which we are to pray is that thy will be done. The next thing we should pray for is our daily bread. Something's in my mouth here, whatever that is. Give us this day our daily bread. Now, when we see this, and we think of this is, we ask God to give us what we need today to survive. Today. Not yesterday. Yesterday long gone. Tomorrow's not promised. So we ask him to give us this day our daily bread. This day. Give us everything that we need to live as a child of God. Now, if you notice, when you go back and read the exodus of the people and they're out in the wilderness, God fed them manna from the sky. And he said, look, you take what you need today. Take what you need today. Now, if you took more than what you could eat today, if you were trying to save some till tomorrow, then when he opened it up, it was all worms. They couldn't eat it. And it was one day, it was on Friday. He said, now you get double for Friday and Saturday, because you weren't working. So he fed the people. So we ask God to give us our daily bread. What is it that we need to live today as a child of God? Not yesterday, and tomorrow's not promised. God, provide for me today my daily bread. My daily bread today. That's what we need. My daily bread. Provide for me what I need today. Not worrying about yesterday, and surely tomorrow is not promised. So when we're praying, we've got to pray and ask God to provide us this day our daily bread. Our daily bread. We ask today that thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, or in earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread. That's all we need. We don't need anything else. We want him to protect us and give us today our daily bread. Well, that's been another edition of Friday Night Series. I'm your host, the Reverend Doctor. And I always sign off by saying, if you're too busy to pray, you're too busy. May God have mercy on our souls.